In this video, we're going to graph the parabola given by the equation y is equal to negative x squared minus 2x plus 4, and we're going to do this by plotting the vertex first and then finding 4 additional points, 2 to the left of the vertex and 2 to the right. Then we're going to connect those dots. So you can see the form of the quadratic that we're given. It's not given in the form that allows us to easily pick out the vertex, so we need to use our vertex formula. And the vertex formula is the x value of our vertex is going to be equal to negative b over 2a. So this is just like when you're solving quadratics and using the quadratic formula, you would pick an a and b and a c, and they're just going to be the coefficients of the various terms in your quadratic. So let's go ahead and pick out the a and the b because we need that in this problem. So the a is going to be the coefficient of our x squared term, and so that's going to be negative 1. And the b is going to be the coefficient of our linear term, and that's going to be negative 2. C is going to be positive 4, but we don't really need that for this problem because we just want the vertex negative b over 2a, or at least the x value. So let's go ahead and solve the vertex x value for this problem. So x is going to be equal to negative b over 2a, which for us is going to be negative. So our b is negative 2 over 2 times a, which is negative 1. And then we can simplify on top. Negative and a negative makes a positive. And on bottom, 2 times negative 1 gives us negative 2. 2 over negative 2 gives us negative 1. So the x value of our vertex is negative 1. So now to find the corresponding y value, all we're going to do is go back and plug negative 1 into the equation that we have in the place of x, and then that's going to give us our corresponding y value, and then we'll have the whole vertex x and y ordered pair, and we can plot it. So let's go ahead and do that. So this is x equals negative 1. And if x equals negative 1, then y is going to be equal to negative parentheses negative 1 squared. Again, we're just putting negative 1 in the place of x, minus 2 multiplied by negative 1 plus 4. And then we just want to simplify this. So the negative 1 squared is going to give us a positive 1 times another negative will give us negative again. Negative 2 times negative 1 is going to be positive 2 and then plus 4. And so overall, we're going to get a y value, of 5 that corresponds with our x value of negative 1. And so our overall vertex is going to be the point negative 1, 5. And so let's go ahead and plot that point. And that's going to be our vertex. So negative 1, so left 1, up 5, and we'll put a dot. And we know this parabola is going to open downward because our leading coefficient is a negative number, so it's going to be opening downward. So what we're going to do now is we're going to figure out what it's going to look like exactly by picking 2 points to the left and 2 points to the right, I should say x values to the left and to the right of negative 1. So if we take negative 1 and we go to the right 1 unit, that's going to be an x value of 0. And so that's going to be the first one that we're going to evaluate, x equals 0. If we go another unit to the right, that's going to give us x equals 1. If we go back to where our vertex is, the x value of negative 1, and go 1 to the left, we're going to have x equals negative 2. And if we go 2 to the left, that's going to give us x equals negative 3. So again, the idea is take the x value of the vertex and go 1 unit to the left and then another unit to the left. That's going to be the 2 points to the left. And then go back to your vertex and do 1 to the right and then another to the right. And that's going to give us 2 points to the right of the vertex, giving us our total of our 4 additional points that we want for this particular problem. So what we're going to do again to get the corresponding y value is we're just going to plug these x values into our equation. So for x equals 0, we're just going to put 0 in the place of x. So y is going to be equal to negative 0 squared minus 2 times 0 plus 4. Of course, all those terms with zeros are just going to go away. That's going to leave us with a y value of 4. And so now we want to plot the point 0, 4. So we can do that, go 0 and then go up 4 and put a dot. Now, we technically know that the exact same thing is going to happen 1 unit to the left of our vertex. So really, we already know that we're going to have a point negative 2, 4, because we know there's going to be symmetry. Anytime you have a parabola, it's just going to be a u, and whatever happens on the right is also going to happen on the left. But I want to go ahead and verify that just to show you that it works out if you did go ahead and evaluate this for all of our points. So that would be for the x value of negative 2. So if we plug that into the original equation, we get y is equal to negative parentheses negative 2 squared minus 2 times negative 2 plus 4. And you can see what happens. The negative 2 squared is going to give us positive 4, and then the negative out front makes it negative 4 again. Negative 2 times negative 2 gives you positive 4, and then the plus 4. And so the negative 4 and the positive 4 cancel out, leaving you with 4. So again, you don't have to always go through all the points. Really, you can just choose 2 points to the right of your vertex, and you can evaluate those and then do the mirror image. But if it makes you feel more comfortable to work out all of them, that's perfectly okay. So let's go to our, I guess this would be our third x value, x equals 1. And so we're going to put 1 in the place of our original equation. So y is equal to negative 1 squared minus 2 times 1 plus 4. And the 1 squared, of course, gives us 1, times the negative gives us negative 1. Negative 2 times 1 is going to give us minus 2, and then plus 4. And that's going to give us 1, because negative 1 minus 2 more gives us negative 3, plus 4 gives us 1. So that's going to be the point 1, 1. So we can go ahead and plot that point, go over 1, and then go up 1 and put a dot. And again, we already know that we're going to have the same thing, the mirror image on the left-hand side. But if you wanted to work it out, it would look like this. Plugging negative 3 into the place of x, so y is equal to negative 3 squared minus 2 times negative 3 plus 4. And then the negative 3 squared is going to give us 9, times that negative is going to be negative 9. Negative 2 times negative 3 is going to give us positive 6, and then plus 4. So negative 9 plus 6 plus 4 is going to indeed give us positive 1. So again, that order pair we technically already know, negative 3, 1. That's the dot that we put just a second ago. And so now we have our vertex, and we have 2 points to the left and 2 to the right. So we can just kind of connect the dots, knowing it's going to be a U shape. And of course, the points that we got verifies what we knew about it opening downward. And so that's always, kind of double check yourself. You know it's going to open downward because the leading coefficient is a negative. So if something happens and it doesn't, then you know there's a problem. But that's it. So again, anytime you want to graph a parabola using this particular method, just figure out your vertex. If it's in this form right here where you have to use your vertex formula, it's still not bad. Figure out your vertex, the x value, plug it back into the original thing, get your y value, and then choose 2 points to the right or to the left, evaluate them, do the mirror image, and then connect the dots.